So today I'm just going to do a quick install video of my new glow shift boost gauge. Should be fairly easy since I have my AFR gauge all linked in already. So hopefully I can help out somebody who's never did anything like this before and go from there. So let's get started. So I would say the easiest part about this is going to be running the actual boost line itself. So it's just a little rubber hose that'll come in through your firewall where your ECU wires come in. So I already did that step. I ran that through and then just tucked it up under the glove box and then through where my radio should be, which is non-existent at the moment because I'd be doing work like this. So that's your first step. And once you get that boost line ran, later on I'll give you an explanation as to where it's teed off of on my setup. I'm sure it's different from setup to setup. But once you get your boost line in, you're going to want to connect it to your boost pressure sensor itself. So that's just a little barb that comes off. You slip your hose in over it. And then you really don't need this till later on once you get your wires set up. So in the box, you're going to have two harnesses. Your first harness is going to go from your boost gauge itself to power. So you've got this one and you've got your wires down on the bottom. So you got your red for your switch source. You've got your orange for your headlight source, your yellow for constant power, and then of course black for ground. If you can get on that one, can't really see it, but that's that little wire harness. Nextly, you've got this harness itself. So this harness is running from the back of the boost gauge to your boost pressure sensor. So those are going to be two things that I'll set up next. Fairly easy still. So this is the back of our boost pressure sensor, and it's as easy as just plugging this little tab right into the back of that hole. Got to click and you're good. So best thing to do if you're not going far with the actual boost pressure sensor itself, try to tape these up as best as possible, or in my sense I did like a little wire holder, and then that way you can fish the other end up towards where your boost gauge is going to end up going. Sorry, yeah, your boost gauge. Since I already have wires ran for various things in my car, I've got wire set up for my speakers to get power for my radio and all that stuff. But since I already have wires ran, I do have a main ground that'll be easy to tap into. That'll be for all of my gauges at any point. And then I've got my power itself, my 12 volt. This will be activated on my accessory part of my key. So once I turn to accessory, it should be that second click. All of my gauges will get power on that one. So these should be fairly easy to tap into for me. See, I've pre-cut a few wires to length. So you've got your power, and what I'll end up doing off of this little harness that comes with the gauge, I'm gonna run the yellow and red wires together, because I'm not gonna have a constant. I'll just have it run off my switch itself, and then I'm not gonna run the orange one. The orange one runs off of I believe it'll give you like a dimmability to it, so that's not something that I'm gonna end up hooking up to this. And then my ground. So got my ground wires. So what I'll do is I'll end up crimping these together, or tapping into one another, I haven't decided yet, and then run that to my main engine, my main ground. And then I've got my power wire, which I'll run the red and yellow together and then tap into my switched power supply. So, no, this isn't the best way to do it. The only reason I'm doing it this way is because nothing on this car right now is permanent. So I basically spliced the one wire into the other one, and then same with my power and switch to what's going to be the main power on this harness itself. and then picking these up, but for now I'm just gonna push them through down behind where the boost gauge is gonna go itself. And pull them out the front. That way I can still tape them up and everything. And then this is where it starts to get a lot easier. But what you're gonna do, basically you're just gonna run this harness into the boost gauge, and then if you remember the harness that we used in the beginning, we'll run that one back down through as well. And then plug that harness in as well. We should be done up top for now. And that fits right in there nice. So this is sort of another easy way out of this, but on the ends of my wires, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw these little connector pieces in, and what those will do is they'll help me tap into my wires that I want to tap into. Once you get those two crimped on, so I've got mine here, what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna use these two little clips to tap into my existing grounds and power source. And those fairly straightforward. What you do is you get oh, lost it. You'll get one end of it, get it on your power wire, close it down, and then it's easier if you use a plier, well, a set of pliers, but I'm gonna try and use the crimps on this, and hopefully I can get it in first try. That's what you said, but it doesn't look like that's what's gonna happen right now. Probably gonna have to go to pair pliers. Yep, so I'm gonna go get a pair of pliers and I'll show you how to do that. So once you've got those two tabs clipped on, it's as easy as just putting on your power and your grounds. So they literally just fit right over into the slots, and once those are on snug, you're good. I think I made this ground wire a little too long. But once those are on, you should be set. So let me just plug my battery in real quick and then turn the key and see if we've got power. And let's check it out. And then second click, they should turn on. And they don't. So I probably don't have enough power to do both of them off of the one power wire that I'm running now. So let me just go get a bigger fuse and then put that in and we should be good. So I switched out the fuse and seemed to work fairly well. The only problem is I'm gonna need an even bigger fuse to be able to still run my fans off of this one fuse. So that's the only bad news about this, but other than that, it seems to work, and I just have to tuck some of these wires up in a way. Yep. So I know I missed a few things on the install that if anybody is following this to actually do a boost gauge install on their car. So I want to note those now. One of them being the power. Under the steering wheel on my car, at least, the S13 hatch, we've got a fuse box right near the clutch pedal where you can take that cover off, and on the back side of the cover, it actually tells you what fuses go for what. So for me, I went with any accessory. So on that second click, anything hooked up to that accessory will turn on. What I used was a little fuse tap. You just literally pull the fuse that you want to plug it into. I used the radio in my case. So I plugged that into the radio slot and then did a bigger fuse on the outside to cover the 2 gauges that I have on here instead of the 1 AEM. So in the video, you probably noticed that it on that first click, that first try, it actually didn't turn on at all. So went over, got a bigger fuse. I think I went with I think they're measured in amps, so I went with a 30 amp fuse and it seemed to have worked. I do have 2 more gauges coming in, one being an oil pressure and then a coolant temp sensor, only because my stock one, even though I switched it out a few times, it burns out extremely quick. So I'm gonna use my own on that. But other than that, it was pretty easy, straightforward. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please just send me a message. I'm sure I'm always on my phone, so if I see any comments or anything, I'll make sure to answer them. So thanks for watching this video. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, and cool. If you have any recommendations for me, at least, I'm doing this build and I'd like as much input or opinions as possible. So thanks for watching, guys. Catch you next time. Night.